AFC North rivals meeting in the playoffs for the first time ever. You have the experience of Joe Burrow and the relative inexperience of Tyler Huntley. Couldn't go last week, but he's able to go in this one. It's a 3-0 lead for the Bengals. Huntley here with the Ravens trying to drive, picked by Akeem Davis-Gaither. Early turnover from the Ravens. Ensuing Bengals drive. 3rd and 10. Burrow. Jamar Chase through the initial contact and able to get extra yardage for the first down. 2nd and goal, first play of the second quarter. Chase settles down right there in the middle of the defense. Chase had 5 catches on that drive. Bengals missed the extra point. They lead 9-0. Ravens trying to respond at 9-0. It's 3rd and goal. Huntley, J.K. Dobbins, does he get there? They signal yes, and Dobbins just barely reaches that line, and the Ravens cut the deficit to 9-7. Next drive for Cincinnati. Burrow dumps it off for Hayden Hurst, and you can see that the Ravens have got Hurst stopped short of the line, but Kyle Hamilton, the rookie out of Notre Dame, comes up with a big hit. Ravens pounce on it. They've got a chance to take the lead before halftime. All right, the snap goes awry, and Huntley finds a man downfield. That's Josh Oliver. Great improvisation there. The Ravens have an opportunity to extend the drive, and now they're knocking on the door. They had 3 snaps from inside the 10, and frankly, every play looked something like that. Really no hope for 7. They got 3, and they head into the locker room leading. 3rd and inches, big play from Joe Burrow. Avoids the blitz there. That was Roquan, and that moves the chains. 3rd and 9. Again, money down in this league. Can you get the Bengals offense off the field? No, they can't. Guess who? It's Chase again. 1st and goal from the 1. Burrow plows in, and the Bengals take the lead at 15-10. They missed that extra point, and so Zach Taylor says, let's go for 2. Burrow extends, rolls. Has he got somebody? Yeah, he's got T wide open. That's T. Higgins for 2. Bengals push the lead to 17-10. Familiarity of these two teams, that's something Louis Riddick and I were talking about as we watch these games. We know what you're going to do. Can you stop us? Here, it's a toss to Dobbins. And Dobbins, who finally looks right, finally looks healthy, and man, what a difference that makes. Big time gain there. Then little double move, and guess who's wide open? Demarcus Robinson. Huntley hits him from 41 yards out, and this game's tied up just like that, 17-all. 4th quarter. This is the game as the Ravens are on the move. What a catch Andrews makes on 3rd and 1. Very next play, they had run this play earlier and Huntley kind of stumbled. They must have liked the look because there goes Huntley. Is he going to get to the end zone? No. Big play there in the secondary from Bates, and that's huge because he kept the Ravens out of the end zone. Huntley now reaches for the goal line. The ball's out. And there goes Sam Hubbard. OH, Cincinnati, the whole bit. This is the local guy. You know that. Was there a block in the back? They didn't call it. Hubbard, 98-yard return for a touchdown, is the longest in the history of the NFL playoffs. What a play the Bengals make to knock it loose. Hubbard's getting some oxygen, and now Baltimore's got to play catch-up. Give their defense a ton of credit. They kept getting the ball back, but now time is wasting. Justice Hill there on 3rd and 2, stopped just short. That means it's 4th and inches for the Ravens. Huntley, a design run. He gets there. That keeps the drive going. And now, Coach Harbaugh and the Ravens ideally bleed the clock, tie the game, and that's sort of what they're doing. Huntley finds Dobbins. More downs, but now we're under 40 seconds. They're in the red zone looking for Andrews. There's about 4 Bengals in that picture. Jermaine Pratt climbs the ladder and deflects it. Now just 15 seconds left. It's 3rd and 20. Huntley extending the play. Looking for somebody, anybody, nobody. This is it. It's 4th and 20. Do you have the Texans play in your book? Huntley, pressured, looks deep. It's deflected, and James Prochet has his chance. Somewhere TJ's yelling, knock it down, but that ball's in the air, and Prochet just cannot corral it. And Cincinnati's defense comes up with the touchdown when it appeared the Ravens were poised to take the lead. And that 7 points holds up. That's the difference. After allowing 17 through 3 quarters, the Bengals hang a goose egg in the final frame, allowing half as many yards per pass attempt. And for the Ravens, all credit. They lose Lamar Jackson late in the year to injury. They make it to the playoffs. They battle, but they come up just short. Afterwards, here's Zach Taylor.
You know, that's why you just never give up on a drive. It's even when it's down there and inside the 2. That's what our defense is really, the low red zone really over the last couple of years has been awesome from our defense, and today was no different. But for Logan to knock that ball out and Sam to finish it off 98 yards later, really changed the momentum of the game, because you're looking at a 14-point swing right there, going down 7, going up 7. You know, it was a challenge on offense, certainly. It's one of the better defenses we face all year, and so we knew that going in, and our defense really carried us in the 4th quarter, and we needed that.
Zach, obviously I'm sure you're probably waiting results on Jonah, but how would you assess the state of your offensive line now with LC done for the season, Kappa pending, speaking return?
Yeah, fighting. I'd assess them as they're fighting, giving us a chance.
I know you say next man up, but when you lose three starters down the offensive line,
Yeah.
How much does that take away from your playbook? You know, like not just just being comfortable with some of the stuff because you haven't repped it with probably that group specifically.
Well, that's the most challenging part, is just getting the reps in there, because a guy like Jackson's got to rep both sides. You know, and it's impossible to predict where you're going to have to go in first. So, you know, that's the thing going forward. We'll see who's available and healthy. Do our best to rep them and get them going.
What is it about this defense this season? I mean, because they were on their heels, I think, a little bit there dealing with Huntley and stuff, and then in the 4th quarter,
Yeah.
not only the Hubbard play, but all the stops.
Yeah, I mean, just the second half in general this entire year. You know, that's really been the storyline for our defense is rising up and really just not allowing the offense to have anything. And so for our offense to be able to get in rhythm and be able to score points, but our defense just second half has just been fantastic. Today was no different. And it's good to see that they brought that second half defense to the playoffs also.
Like that old comfortable Mr. Rogers cardigan and boat shoes. Man, this feels good to be back together
sure
again.
does,
Louis
man.
Riddick in studio. This is like old times, man.
Absolutely.
And we get to start with a really interesting game. You and I watching this game, just smiling about division rivals. We know what you're going to run. Can you stop it, and vice versa. But then in the end, I don't care if it's a playoff game or preseason game. Somebody's got to make a play. Cincinnati's defense did, and that was ultimately the difference. How did the Bengals figure the way to the victory here?
Well, Scott, you know, the NFL eventually always turns out to be about players over plays. And look, Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, has done this all year long. He has taken what offenses have given him in the first half. He adjusts to it in the second half. There's a lot of familiarity, obviously, between these two football teams. They understand that, one, they have to get stronger against the run. They have to make sure that they set the edge. They have to make sure that there's no yardage after contact. And they have to make sure that they try and mitigate what Mark Andrews is trying to do in the middle of the football field and make Tyler Huntley throw the football outside and obviously pressure him and get some pressure off the edges. That's what made Baltimore feel a little bit uncomfortable. Obviously, down there on the goal line, look, the play by Logan Wilson, that's players over plays, man. You don't coach that. That's just something that instinctively you wind up doing as a player, jumping up, swatting the ball away, and Sam Hubbard's Johnny on the spot. I mean, so really, it's a combination of both, man, as far as how Lou has coached his team all year long, and he deserves head coach consideration. But ultimately, this is a league of players. And Cincinnati has some ballers on that defensive side of the ball, and they've been there all year.
I mean, I can't imagine being on the Baltimore side where you're playing shorthanded at quarterback. Huntley, all credit to him, made some plays that helped give you a chance. You're on the goal line. And again, it was Bates that stopped him just short of the goal line that necessitated, the need to score from the 2. And then, I mean, the ball just bounces to Hubbard. Yeah. And, I mean, it could have gone anywhere. You know what I mean? It's just nuts. And then he goes 98 yards. I don't know if they missed a block in the back. It wasn't called, so it wasn't a penalty. But, I mean, that's the game.
You know what? When I was in college, John Fox was my defensive coordinator. And when we used to break the huddle, instead of saying ready, break, our break was always hit and run.
Okay.
And that's what defense is always about. Always give yourself a chance to fight another down. You stop them short of the goal line, you give yourself a chance to fight another down. And you never know what's going to happen if you continue to hit and run. They hit,
and then
Sam
they
picks
ran.
up and runs. And see, that's defense in itself, man. And that's why it's, for me as a defensive guy, there's nothing better than that play.
I just like to say to anybody, I saw, Twitter's always good fun. People call that a fat guy touchdown. Y'all got mirrors where you live?
Yeah,
'Cause
for
you
real,
don't look,
man.
You don't look like that. I promise you. Take your shirt off. The tweeted fat guy touchdown. Look at yourself. You don't look like that, and you don't run like that.
Schefter, don't take your shirt off, though.
No, it's fine. It's fine. There was some O-line attrition, and we saw that. Look, Cincinnati's offense couldn't do a great deal in the second half, and I think that has to be a serious concern about what kind of health they've got. I mean, yeah, you rep guys out, and you've got plug and play, and you've got guys that are ready to perform. But I would think that would be a big concern for Cincinnati moving forward. Just who do you have that can stand in front of Burrow? Because that's not been the strength all year.
There's no question. Look, when you go 15 weeks with the same starting five and then lose 3/5 of your starters in subsequent weeks after that, that's big. Look, Joe, I had tweeted, I said, look, Joe's legend is going to have to grow exponentially now.
Yeah.
Because now everything's going to be about him being able to make quick decisions, get the ball out fast, and he has to be on it with his wide receivers now going forward because the competition is going to ramp up. That's no disrespect to Baltimore,
right?
But they're probably going to have to score a bunch in these next couple of games, and maybe these potentially next two teams are going to have to play. So for him, look, the legend of Joe Burrow is going to grow. I would be concerned, for sure, just like Zach Taylor is. Run game's going to be important. In the defense, as we started off this segment, Scott, they have to play lights out, man, and they have to give them extra possessions. They have to take the ball away.
We're waiting to hear from John Harbaugh, and from the Baltimore perspective, you heard Taylor praise that defense, says that's one of the toughest we play all year.
Yeah.
They are.
Yep.
And there is the familiarity, and there is sort of just, through the years, you and I have often praised that organization, just the respect they have. They're buttoned up top to bottom. I don't think that they can get on the plane and say, hey, we battled, but they have to know shorthanded they did. What do they take from this?
Well, look, their DNA is intact. Who they are foundationally is intact. They are a hard-nosed, tough football team that will absolutely knock your teeth out on defense. On offense, you know what they're going to try and do as far as come downhill on you, but they have to evolve, Scott, as far as the passing game is concerned, to where, you know what, at some point, especially when you get into the playoffs, everyone says the playoffs is about a time you have to run the football because it become bad weather, inclement weather and all that. This league will always be about explosives. We saw in other games today when things are going haywire for you, and maybe you don't have all the time in the world to go on 10, 15 play drives and getting 4 or 5 at a pop, you have to be able to throw it over the other team's head.
Right.
You have to be able to hit them and have those 2 play drives.
Right.
That's where they just have to evolve at some point. This story is nice. I love their brand of football philosophically and idealistically. But really, in order to compete at the highest level with these other teams on a consistent basis, they have to evolve in the passing game.
Yeah, they did hit the double move tonight to Robinson. They're down Duvernay and Roberson this year, and they also don't have Jackson, obviously, at quarterback. Where that goes, we shall see. That's questions that we've got moving forward.
Yeah.
But plenty more to come with you, Louis, as we continue on.